Welcome to GLCast, the official podcast of GLPro UK. GLPro UK is a London-based creative studio. We work with a diverse range of companies, individuals and brands across multiple platforms to create a wraparound service for all your digital content creation requirements. My name is Greg Armstrong and I'm the head of digital marketing here at GLPro UK. This episode is the second of a three-part series, Understanding Social Media for Your Business, where I'm joined by GLPro UK Managing Director, Jay Lovegrove. The title of this blog is Part 2, Constructing an Effective Social Media Strategy. To find the blog we're discussing, please visit our Facebook, Twitter at GLPro UK or visit our LinkedIn page. Audio versions of the blogs are available on this feed. Constructing an Effective Social Media Strategy. Strategy can be actually a scary word for a lot of companies facing social media, because as great as it is to invest time and invest money, you have to get it right. Because I'm sure there are many businesses out there, I know there are, that aren't doing it right and are actually damaging themselves by doing so. Just because, like, right, we've got a Facebook page up, but really bad images going up, misspelt, no SEO, things spelt wrong, things not making sense, broken links. You know, you're damn it. If I come to a page and I'm like, well, they can't even run a Facebook page. How are they going to work a business?
It's true, but it's the old saying of a little bit of knowledge is a bad thing. Right.
Yeah.
And people who are running bad Facebook pages are people who understand the power of it. They get that they should be doing it for their business.
Right.
They just don't know how.
Yeah.
They just have no clue how. So they're throwing up, maybe I just use this like I use my personal page. And is that good for your brand? Is that a great idea? And I guess it's part of the problem is that there's a lack of knowledge. However, who is going to do the job? Who is going to do it well?
And who is the audience you're looking for?
Yes.
Who are you trying to communicate with? There's no point just doing having no tone and no voice for yourself if you don't know who you're talking to.
And I would say that is the strategy. The way to create a successful strategy of social media is think about the same way you would talk to a salesperson in your business or a traditional marketer. There's no difference. Unfortunately, people get a little bit lost because of the social media. It's Facebook. I don't really use Facebook. Oh, God, it's so difficult. I don't know what to do. It's the same questions that you ask yourself about your business. Who wants to buy my product or service? Who are they? What do they look like? And I don't mean are they tall and ugly? Or, but I mean, who are they? Are you selling a £100,000 car? In which case you have a very different audience from someone who's buying Wrigley's gum.
Yeah.
And those two people need to be marketed to in different ways and spoken to in a different way. So the first, and I always say it, there's no point in having social media or advertising or marketing or a salesperson if you don't know who's going to buy your product or service. It's as simple as that. To be honest, there's no point having a business if you don't know who's going to buy your product or service.
I mean, that's usually one of the first questions you ask of a business, apart from what we're going to be selling or make or servicing, but who to?
Yeah, and a lot of businesses start with, we want to do this thing because we're good at it and we can create this new thing, this service, this product, this thing. We're great at it. We should do that for a living. Great, cool. Who cares?
Right.
That's what you need to find out next. Who cares? Because if you can't answer that question, you don't start the business.
Yeah.
Take another thought. Find another product, because if no one cares, no one's going to buy it. If no one's going to buy it, you are ice skating uphill straight away. So first and foremost, you need to know who's going to interact with your services, and that's then who you market to.
So a great point on that is who you're going to interact with also means where are you finding these people you're going to interact with? Where do you find them? Because there are so many different social media platforms, and that's what confuses a lot of new businesses.
And then a new platform
or old businesses.
Yeah, and a new platform spins up every day.
Yeah, constant. And some catch, some don't.
No.
So some go the whole 9 yards, some drop off very quickly after a launch because constantly someone's always trying to make the new face. I honestly thought after Facebook and Twitter, I was like, what else can they do? And when Instagram was launched, I was like, that's pretty fun. I was late to Instagram in terms of when it came out because I was like, I don't even know what the point of it is. And then Snapchat was around and I was like, it's just like a live action Instagram, isn't it?
Got Instagram.
But now they're huge.
But what you're saying there is, you're an expert in this. You work in social media. You do it day in, day out. And even you are scratching your head to be like, God damn, there's a new thing. Yeah. There's a new thing.
But it stuck and it grew. And now it's not even, now it's one of the main pillars of social media platforms.
Well, what you want to do is, take it back to that first question. Who cares? Who cares about my product or service? Great. As soon as you know that who, well, where are they? So, for instance, and we're talking about, where are they in a social media concept? So older people are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because they haven't switched around to knowing about these other platforms yet. They found one, they're using it, they love it. Great. So if you're selling specifically to a 50 plus market, then definitely concentrate on Facebook. However, if your product or service has a wider audience, then you need to start thinking, if your product is or service is as applicable to a 60-year-old as it is to an 18-year-old, well, doesn't take a rocket scientist to say those two people hang out in different places.
And it's also what falls under social media, because when I talk to people that, I don't do social media, but then eventually they mention they're on LinkedIn. And I'm like, so you do social media? No, but I'm on LinkedIn. That is still a form of social media. Absolutely. You got Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, and the list does go on. But there's plenty there for everyone. That almost, some people maybe are using social media without realizing they're really using it. So
because that's widespread.
Yeah.
It's literally that widespread. My family, my mum, my dad wouldn't say that they're on social media. They use them Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. They will see advertisements about things that come up on their Facebook feed and be like, how did it know I like those things? And it's like, look, I haven't got time to get involved in that.
And you can actually use Facebook without being on Facebook.
Can you?
Like, just a quick story. A cousin of mine, she's not on Facebook, but my birthday, she gave me a t-shirt and she's like, I saw this on Facebook. It advertised and I couldn't find it. I saw it pop up and I went back later and couldn't find it anywhere. Eventually I Googled it and I found it and it took me back to the site of the people that advert I saw. Because you can look at people's photos on Facebook. You can send links to, like, here's my holiday pictures, Mum. I know you're not on Facebook, but here's a link, have a look. And then ads still come up.
And it's just, oh, really?
So you're still reaching people on Facebook who aren't actually members of Facebook, if they can get on there to see stuff. So that my cousin, she's not on Facebook, but yet she saw a t-shirt on Facebook advertised and she bought it for me.
So essentially just using it as like an online gallery.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And still fell for advertising, and I say fell for, it worked, and bought me a t-shirt she saw on Facebook. So it definitely works. Even if your audience isn't entirely there, you can still get to people.
But I guess, again, it's about understanding your audience. If you don't understand who you're trying to sell to, where they are, how they like to communicate, then how can you talk to them? And how can you talk to them in the right way?
You have to find your own voice.
You really do.
Have to find your own voice.
It's incredibly important. It's incredibly important because it goes back to that community. It goes back to me, people now interact with brands in a different way. It's not just a case of I bought something. It's a case of like, I like them. I like being part of them. I like, seeing their updates. Oh, they've seen something new and I want to buy that now because I like them. I want the new Samsung TV because I laughed at the last advert or something like that. And that's it. If you think back to adverts, how many adverts are like perfume adverts? Make no sense.
No.
Right? Absolutely no sense. No. Never any humor.
It's like 30 seconds, like something I don't understand. But then go on Facebook and check out our 2-minute version of the advert, which makes even less sense.
There's one at the moment with Johnny Depp and in a desert with the
doesn't he bury it or something?
I'm not too sure what he does. It doesn't look like he smells good. Right? They're not even trying to do that. But that's because perfume brands, scent brands have seen that their audience appreciate that.
Yeah.
Their audience communicate that way. Their audience want to see Johnny Depp in the middle of nowhere messing with some bull and then be like, damn, what's that thing Johnny's wearing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's this or that. Or whatever.
Wow, that looks like it smells great.
Absolutely. Whereas like internet companies have gone comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of them have gone comedy and because they understand that everyone needs internet, but no one really understands it.
So one of the things we're almost touching here is that with finding your voice on social media, you have to remember, ultimately, social media is a world of leisure.
Sure.
As a business, it's important to kind of keep that in mind when you create content. So if you just keep pushing your product via sales with nothing else to it, you're going to lose your follows.
Well, it's also, yeah, I mean, there's a thing called a rule of three, which I really try to stick to on social media, which is give, take, right? Just give something away. I don't mean a product or I don't mean give free stuff away, but the weather's this hot. I don't know, I'm being blasé, but here's information about our industry. Here's information about people who have used our product. here's our product.
Right.
That as opposed to here's our product, here's our product, here's our product, or here's our service, here's our service, here's our service. I don't want anything stuffed down my throats. How many people so bored of the adverts? Their show finishes, their stories, stop, and then they're like, ugh, adverts. I don't want, why are they trying to force this down my throat? It's not a good way of selling to people, which is why those adverts aren't necessarily like just going through a list of solutions that they solve. There's not a stinky bloke who sprays perfume on himself. It's Johnny Depp because they're not actually selling to you. They're just like, look at this. You can buy the dream of being in a desert with a bull. But also, more importantly, what that voice does with social media, it allows you to give your unique selling point and show it to your customers. Something that, traditionally you would have had to get them through the door to be like, look, aren't we good guys? Aren't we lovely? We give a great service. Look how nice it is to work with us. And if that is one of your USPs, make your social media about that.
I like that. I like it when you get to know a business or a service or a company through Facebook, or you feel like you know them. I think that's very important. If you're following them and you actually see the people working there, and it's not just, an Shutterstock image of somebody sat at this, which you see a lot, especially with mortgage places, housing, you just see a lot of Shutterstock images of people in new homes looking over, or someone sat at a computer with their headset on smiling.
And Shutterstock is like a library of stock photographs, essentially, right?
And it feels like stock. Like the social media feels like stock.
Which to me then starts to give me the feeling like there's something not right.
Yeah.
Are you trying to hide something? Why isn't there a picture of you?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a picture of your office? Now, a lot of people will say, well, all we do is stuff on computers. It's boring. What could we show? If that's what you do, then that's what you show. That's what you show, right?
Yeah.
And why do people want to come work with you? If that's all you do, let's go right back to that original question. Why do people want to work with you? And if you can't answer that question, then you don't know how to interact with them. And if you don't know how to interact with them, then don't have a business.
So you also got to keep completely consistent. So once you're on social media and you found your voice and you found your tone and you know a bit more about who your audience are, you won't know them straight away. You'll know who your audience are, but you won't find them on Facebook straight away or your social media platforms. You've got to figure out how to get to them, But you do that by keeping consistent and tracking what works and what doesn't. So keeping consistent, you need to keep doing and learn from what you're doing. You don't learn to be a karate master overnight unless you keep going back and learning. You don't learn to drive overnight unless you keep taking lessons. You have to keep learning to progress. And that is exactly the same as social media. It can be frustrating at first, especially for an older business. In fact, I keep saying older business example, any business. If you're new to social media, it can be really frustrating. And you at times you will think that this isn't working. I've only got 2 likes. No one likes the page. No one's sharing. It's frustrating. You learn. Give it a month, give it 2 months, give it 6 months, and you'll see a change, and you'll start understanding what works and what doesn't. And it will help. You'll see the analytics. You'll see you'll see your website get more visits, and in turn, it will fuel your business.
Especially if you use analytics. The different thing about social media marketing or social media as a whole is the fact is that there is a wealth of information available to you now that there's never in the history of marketing been without going out and doing a market survey. Remember market research?
Yes.
Excuse me, can I ask you a few questions about Doritos or cheesy puffs? Those are nice cheesy puffs, but they're not as good as the cheesy puff I like.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is now, you don't have to pay a company to go out and grab a random cross section of people. Yeah. You can literally see, I tried this thing. I tried to talk more like us, and I didn't use a Shutterstock picture. I didn't use a stock photo. I used a photo of our office, and I was a little bit more amicable and nice because that's what we're like. Yeah. And look, it's reacting. Like someone commented, someone did that. Or it was detrimental. Yeah. I did that and we lost followers.
We scared our audience a bit because they didn't like that.
Let's never do that again. Let's do more stock photos. Let's go more in that direction. And as long as you're using that, let's be honest, this isn't a new concept. If you want to get better at something, you try and you assess and you see what I'm doing well and what I'm doing bad. If you want to be an Olympic runner, you don't just turn up to the marathon.
I just wish I could sit down with somebody that worked in marketing 20 years ago and be like, look at analytics. Just from Facebook alone, or emails, just look at analytics and just then be like, wow, that would have been useful back then. You already so much ahead of the game when you start, because you can have so much at your fingertips already, literally at your fingertips.
And more importantly, that means you can save time and money because you don't have to waste your time doing something that isn't good. But let's go back to that consistency thing. Think about it. If we use running as an analogy, if you're going to run a marathon, you don't just go and run the marathon, right? You don't say today, from now on, I'm a runner. I'm quitting my job. I'm going to run the earth, right? Because that's mental. That's genuinely that's crazy talk, right? What you would do is you'd set up a program and say, okay, I'm going to start running once or twice a week, and then when I'm good at that, then I'm going to start running 3 or 4 times a week, and then ultimately I'm
spreading out my distance. I'm
going to start up in the distance. I'm going to run for longer or something like that. Well, social media is no different. People get onto Facebook, they set all the pages up. They're very exciting, and it is. It's exciting.
It absolutely
it's
is
fun to do. But then they essentially are taking that marathon on by sprinting for the first mile. And anyone who has ever run any kind of long distance, and that is not me, but obviously even I know, and I've never run a marathon, that if you try and sprint for the first mile of 26 miles,
you're done.
You're done. You're not going to make it around 26 miles. Well, your business, marketing your business.
And everyone will see you and they will laugh.
They will laugh because you'll sprint ahead of them and they'll be like, wow, look at that guy. Wow.
I look forward to passing him later.
Actually, when we first start running, they'll be like, that's incredible. If he keeps it up, that's amazing. I wish I could be that guy. But when you're breathing blood bubbles, laying on the floor because you've sprinted straight for a mile and you can no longer, breathe in through a straw, then everyone's going to slowly stroll past you. You're going to be looking at them like, damn, I wish that was me. Social media is no different. If you're going to start and you're going to put together a load of content, don't start with a post a day. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. And maybe you have time to do a post a day.
And even jumping ahead with post a day, just get it looking right.
Yep.
Get it looking right. You need the right images, the right banner. It needs to look right before you start inviting people back to your page.
But get it looking right and then post once a week. And then after a month, look at those analytics we were talking about. It's very easy to pull them out.
Posts,
see what worked. Okay, so the first 2 weeks didn't do anything, but that third week was really good. Next month, I'm going to post twice a week because I know I can handle this once a week thing that really wasn't any time. And also those 2 posts I'm going to do every week, I'm going to lean more towards that post that was really successful in my first month.
Yeah, that image worked really well for me, or that link to my website about that. So not just a link to my website, but a link to a page in particular, giving them information that people might actually want worked a lot better. Here's my services link, not just here's my website, go look.
So I'm going to do more of that. And then, okay, so you're doing it twice a week now. After a month, have a look at it, analyze, think about it. Actually, I was struggling to do twice a week. It wasn't as easy for me as once a week. Great. Go back to once a week. Yeah. Right? Because you haven't started one post every goddamn day. It's great because it means you're not in a position where people are like, wow, look at this social media. It's incredible. I love this. And then all of a sudden you're gone. Because you've sprinted and you're tired and you're laying on the side of the floor, not able to post anything.
Because you had no strategy.
This is it. So set up a strategy to say, I'm going to post once a week. Once a month, you then need to think of what you're going to post every week. Don't do it weekly. Think about your plan. Who do you want to talk to? How do you want to talk to them? What events do you have coming up? What are you trying to sell? Do you have a new service? Do you have a new menu? Do you have a new product that's coming out? Okay, well then build up to that. Talk about it beforehand.
Yeah. Are you working with anybody you can tag in a post? Is there any people in the industry that you really help you out? Oh, it's great to work with X, Y, and Z. Start grabbing some of their audience. Strategy.
It is. It's the 5 or 6 Ps, which is poor planning prevents perfect performance.
That's 5.
Damn.
No, you said 5 or 6, so you're half right.
Okay, I think the 6th one is a swear word. But that is the case of everything. You want to run a marathon, you have any kind of goal, say what it is, work out how you're going to do it, and then execute that plan. And execute it in small chunks. Don't look at saying, in a year's time, I want 10,000 Facebook followers, so I'm going to start doing a post every day. Look at it as a case of, I want to have this many, so how do I get there? Okay, in 6 months' time, I need to get to 5,000 to realistically be there. How am I going to do that on month 1? And then work your way through it, because that way you have a strategy and you're not going to hate social media and ultimately be one of those many companies who have no posts in 3 years. Nothing updated in a year and a half, or they only post jobs. Come work for us. Well, why would I want to when you only post jobs?
And I've seen that too often when I've looked in the company's Facebook. I mean, all I've seen for the last 6 months, every like month or so, or other week is job vacancy, job vacancy, job vacancy, job vacancy. And I'm like, oh, that's boring.
Not
Move
interested.
on. Nothing at all.
Now, as that might get you people to work for you, but what it will do is alienate your audience. And
Occasionally, join part of the team. Like make it more open. You can do that, but just don't just use it for that.
Essentially,
variety.
Think about what you're going to do before you do it, because this is how people are going to find you. And if you're not thinking about it, they'll think that you're not thinking about anything. And as you said earlier, if you can't even run a Facebook page, can you run the business? And then I might move on to someone else who has far less experience, far less ability to run the business. But because outwardly they're marketing themselves as someone who can, I end up spending money with them instead.
Thanks for listening to GLcast. Be sure to follow at GLProUK on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and find us on our LinkedIn page. Thank you.